chapter 20. Before we get into the word, I want to say happy Thanksgiving to our Canadian family. Thanksgiving for us is every day, because we are always thankful to the Lord for what He does, for what He's doing, what He's going to do, what He's already done. We give Him thanks. Amen. I find it ironic that tomorrow, Monday, is Canadian Thanksgiving, but it's also here in the United States, Columbus Day. I don't think that two celebrations or two observations could be diametrically opposed. I don't think it could possibly be on the same day, two different observations that are just so separate, so diametrically opposed. We don't normally celebrate liars and cheats and thieves and murderers. But somehow, some way, somebody got legislation passed to celebrate Columbus. If you look at the real history, the real account, Columbus didn't even discover America. He was somewhere south of America. But they laid a claim to him. And furthermore, what he discovered, allegedly, you discover things that are unknown. You discover things that people aren't aware of. You can't discover a town that already has people in it. You can't just go to take a boat, cross the river, and say, "Oh, I discovered Sarnia." There's people already there. There's buildings, there's towns, it's already occupied. You can say that you discovered it, but anybody in the right mind would just laugh you out of town. But not only did Europe, Spain, get the credit, but there was a race to really get credit for the world. So they just started claiming stuff. They started claiming stuff that wasn't theirs. They started claiming stuff that didn't belong to them. They started claiming stuff that belonged to other people. That's like you going to the parking lot at Meyer and saying, "Hey, I discovered this car. I'm going to drive it home." But you got no keys. That's okay. I'll make it work. I'll take a screwdriver. I will jam it into the ignition. You know what they call that? Grand Theft Auto. We celebrate Christopher Columbus. Amazing. But on the same day, we also, cook a big turkey and have family around. And for us, it's always on a Thursday, always later. But our Canadian family has Thanksgiving a little bit earlier. I think we should be thankful often. I think we should have turkey dinner more often, because it just gives us an opportunity or an excuse to get together. Amen? Amen. I was in Sam's Club, believe it or not. Those of you that know me, I'm always in Sam's Club. This particular Sam's Club I was in, I'm not there often, but I used to be. And I saw a guy that has been working there for a very, very long time. And while he was working, he was pushing a cart around, and he had gloves on. And his gloves were very, very clean. They were as clean as when he pulled them out. And he's pushing his cart around, he's going up and down aisles, and he's just pushing around. He says, hey man, how you doing? Because he recognized me, I recognized him. I'm doing fine. And we just started chewing the fat. And he said, you need something? I said, no, I'm fine. I know what stuff it is. He says, okay. And I leave and he leaves and I just go to shop and I come back. And maybe about an hour later, he's got the same cart, the same stuff in it, the same gloves. And he's pushing around. Now he's talking to another employee. And he's leaning back. And they're just talking and they're chewing the fat. And, they're not outside, but you would think that they would be outside on break or something like that, the way that they're talking. But they're just going on and on and on and on. And somebody calls the one guy that he was talking to, and he leaves. And he just kind of looks around, the guy that I met, the guy that I know, he just kind of looks around, grabs his cart, starts pushing the cart. And I said to myself, I wonder if this guy's ever worked a day in his life. Because clearly he has a job. He's got on the uniform, he's got on the vest, he looks the part. And he's pushing the cart like he's doing something. But how much does he accomplish in a day in his uniform? How many people is he actually helping? He's got on gloves, but are his hands or his gloves actually getting dirty because he's hired to do a job? I thought about that, and I began to think about some of the things that the Lord was laying on my heart, some of the things that the Lord was weighing in my spirit, because I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I know that I do. I know that I do. And I love to preach something snappy and crispy and happening and smart and savvy, because I love it when those kind of messages go forth. But what the Lord has me right now, the season that he has me in, is that these are the last days. I said, Lord, I preached that last week and the week before. He said, tell them again. These are the last days. I'm like, but Lord, but they've been saying that since I was little, since my dad was little, since my grandmother was little. Tell them again. These are, I'm like, Lord, I'm boring people. I'm bored. He says, listen, the last thing that anybody wants to do is to get caught with their work undone. I said, yeah, but it's not about being caught. He says, well, you don't know when I'm going to return. You don't know the day of the hour. All you know is the season. He says, let my people know that they have to prepare for my arrival. I said, okay, that makes sense. I mean, if you got company coming, there's some things that you do to the house because you got company. You do some extra stuff. He says, it's time for the extra stuff. It's time for the focus. It's time for the purpose of accomplishing some things because because you've been told that these are the last days. And you are governing yourself accordingly. You're being responsible with the information that you have. If you know he's coming back, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? I bring your attention to the book of Matthew, chapter 20. Because it illustrates a theme and an idea that I want to pass on to you. Jesus is teaching and he says the following: the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is a householder, which went out early in the morning to hire laborers into his vineyard. Everybody say his vineyard. His vineyard. And when he had agreed with the laborers for a penny a day, he sent them. Now that doesn't seem like very much now. Back then that was a pretty good wage. And when he agreed with them for laborers for a penny a day, he sent them into the vineyard. Why did he send them into the vineyard? Huh? To work. He didn't send them into the vineyard to make new friends. He didn't send them into the vineyard to figure out, which grapes tasted better. He sent them in there to work, to physically accomplish the labor that needs to be done in the day for the vineyard. Verse number 3, and he went out the third hour and saw others standing idle. You know why they were standing idle? Because they were unemployed. Because they had nothing better to do. Now, spoiler alert. The guy that owns the vineyard, that's God. Okay? That's the Father. Because not only does he own the vineyard, he owns everything, right? I mean, is there anything that God doesn't own? All souls are his, all the people, earth is the Lord's, the fullness thereof, the world, and they that dwell therein. God owns everything, right? And despite the fact that he owns everything, he's going out and he's asking, he's trying to pay people to work. Well, he's already the boss. He's already everybody's boss. But he says, listen, if you work in my vineyard, I'll give you a penny a day, right? Well, that's fair. If everybody agrees, that's fair, right? And then he finds some people that are in his world that he owns, but they're not working. They're not doing anything. So he says, listen, if I can give you a job, I will compensate you. I will reward you. I will give you gainful compensation if you work for me. And it's like, okay, we ain't got nothing else to do. Right? So they go in the vineyard, they begin to work. How much we want to get paid? Well, you're going from getting paid nothing to getting paid something. I'll pay you a penny a day. Okay. Sounds pretty good to me. So they go to work. Whatsoever was right, I'll give you. And they went their way. And again, verse number 5, he went out in the 6th and the 9th hour, and did likewise. And the 11th hour he went out, and found others standing idle, and saith unto them, why stand ye here all the day idle? It would seem like people in the world would have some semblance of understanding that there is a God, that there's a Father, there's a God that made everything, and maybe they might want to return the favor. Since he provided everything, since he made everything, and they're enjoying all of his handiwork, and it all belongs to him, maybe they might return the favor by doing some chores or something. You know, it's kind of like kids living in the house that are being fed and clothed. And that's not a good example. But it seems like if you're benefiting from a household, the very least that you can do is say thank you with your words. Say thank you with your actions. See a piece of paper on the floor, pick it up. Why? Because you live there. Not because it's your job, but because you're thankful for the house and you want to help maintain it. You want to help keeping it looking. It's a nice house. You want to help keep it looking nice, right? That's not a job. You're not getting paid to do that. You don't have to have an allowance, so you'll do something. But simply because you have the right attitude, simply because you're thankful for the Father having provided you life, health, and strength. Thank you. Let me do something for you. Let me show you that I appreciate it. You don't have to pay me, but if he's offering, even better. Somebody say amen. 11th hour he went out and found others standing and said to them, why stand ye here all the day idle? And they said unto him, watch this, because no man hath hired us. So since ain't nobody paying us, we're not going to do nothing. Because we're not getting a check at the end of the week. We're just going to stand here. So knowing that in this scenario that God is the Father, he's the husbandman, he's the God that owns all the property, and all the people are just people in the world. Scratch that. They're people in the church. They are his sons and daughters. All souls are his. Why are you standing there idle? Well, nobody hired us. Nobody's paying us. Nobody gave us an offer. You mean to tell me that for you to get up off your rusty dusty, somebody has to offer you a penny, a nickel, a dime, a quarter? For you to get up and do something active, for you to be actively thankful. Not just in your word, thank you, but in your deeds. You're showing your gratefulness. Somebody has to pay you. Well, that's just sad. That's just sad that somebody has to pay you to make up the bed that you messed up. That's just sad that somebody has to pay you to wash dishes that you didn't have to cook. You didn't have to, all you have to do is clean up after. That's just sad. And I'm not talking about my kids. We got good kids. We're just good teachers. But if we're talking about God being God and us looking at the world, walking by the chores. Seeing stuff needs to be done, but just walking by because it's not our job. Can't we just be thankful? Can't we just be good kids? Can't we just say, well, God, I don't need you to give me anything. I'm just going to be a good child, a good son, a good daughter, and I'm just going to do because you did. I'm going to act like I appreciate you. I'm going to act like you're my Father, and you're glorious, and you're worthy. I'm going to act like it. I'm not just going to sing like it. I'm just going to talk like it. I'm going to be a good son, a good daughter. The man that hires. He said unto them, go ye into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right that you shall you receive. So when even was come, just 12, and he went out third, the fifth, the ninth, the 11th hour. 1 hour later, at even, at 12, the Lord of the vineyard said to his steward, call the laborers and give them their hire, beginning from the last unto the first. And when he came to those that were hired about the 11th hour, which means they'd only been out there for an hour, they received every man a penny. But when the first came, they supposed that they should have received more. And they likewise received every man a penny. And when they had received it, they murmured against the goodman of the house. And they put together a union. They say, well, if we all stand together, we could probably get some more wages. Verse number 12, they said, these last have worked but 1 hour, and thou hast made them equal unto us, which is borne the burden in the heat of all the day. But he answered one of them and said, that was spokesperson, the union steward. He said, friend, I do thee no wrong. Did not thou agree with me for a penny? Doesn't the Lord promise us all the same thing? It doesn't matter whether you're a preacher, or a teacher, or an evangelist, or just a child of God. He promises all the same thing. If you work, if you labor, he's going to give you a crown of life. And you shall forever be with the Lord. That's the kind of payment that I'm looking forward to. That's the kind of payment that I can't wait to receive. So I don't mind the work. Sometimes I want to quit. But then I think about what I'd be giving up. Sometimes I don't like who I'm working next to. But then I remember what I'd be giving up. I remember who I'm working for. Sometimes I just plain don't feel like it. But then I remember who I'm working for and how much I appreciate who he is. He said, friend, I do thee no wrong. Did not you agree with me for 1 penny? Take that thine is, and go thy way. I will give unto this last, even unto thee. In other words, I don't want you working for me because you don't have the right attitude. You don't have the right attitude. See, the people that came in an hour ago, they're laborers. The people that have been here all day, they're laborers too. And the only difference between the people that came in an hour ago and the people that have been working all the day, all the year, all the week long, is the attitude. So, here's the problem with the Christian church today. We're in the church. We're sons and daughters of the Most High. We lift his name on high. We sing, we dance, we say all of these things, but we walk around like God owes us something. We walk around like we're entitled to the abundant life that God promised. And not only are we entitled, that it's ours, and not anybody else's. Well, the truth of the matter is, God is Father of all of us. And as a respectful, appreciative Father, he's going to treat us all the same. He doesn't have any special kids. And those of us that do more because we've been granted more, we should be doing more, because to whom much is given, much is required. And having an attitude of gratitude rather than an attitude of entitlement pleases the Lord. It makes God happy when we realize what we have and we give it back to him in service. We don't look at how little we have. We look at how much we have. We don't complain about what somebody else has and what we don't. We're thankful and we're giving thanks for what we possess, what he's granted us. We're not mad because what they got going on. We're happy, we're content because we're grateful. And here's the thing. If you go to a track meet, there'll be a whole lot of starter guns going off. Because the starter gun wants to get everybody's attention. The starter gun is the most significant thing because it wants to snap your into attention because it lets you know that the race has started. You don't hear very much fanfare, very much noise. You don't hear guns going off when the finish line is crossed. Because when people cross the finish line, it's not that big a deal. Because you can never finish a race that you don't start. When you come into the knowledge of God being our Father, when you come into the knowledge of accepting Jesus Christ as your Savior, when you come into the knowledge of being a sinner that needs salvation, and you say, forgive me, and God does. He honors your request. He washes your sins away. You're saved. You're God's child. You're born again. Whosoever born of God is a new creature. Old things are passed away, and behold, all things have become new. It's not time for us to, well, Rachel, I'm saved now. That was hard. It was hard getting saved, but I'm saved now. What you doing? Nothing. Why are you doing nothing? Because I'm saved now. There's nothing for me to do. But wait on the Lord. Just wait for him to call me to heaven. There's nothing for me to do. I'm saved now. It's time to retire. It's time to sit back and rest and wait for my possession of heaven. I'm just looking forward to my mansion in the sky. The Bible says the husbandman goes around and says, why are you just sitting? Why are you idle? They reply that no man hired me. You don't know that you already have a job? You don't know that when you were born into Christ, you don't understand that the kingdom is a place where everybody has a job. That once you're born into the family of God, you are also part of the family business. What's the family business? To grow and to expand the kingdom. God doesn't have volunteers. God has children. God doesn't have a dot. God gives birth to all of us. And once God gives birth to us, that's the beginning of our lives. That's the start. Salvation isn't the finish. Woo, I'm arrived. I'm saved. Woo, that was hard. I struggled for years. You don't know how long it took me to get to this place right here. But now I'm saved. Now I'm sanctified. Now I'm full of the Holy Ghost. What now? The earth is the Lord's, the fullness of the world. Go to work. Well, what am I supposed to do? You're supposed to do what everybody else does. You're supposed to do what everybody else in the kingdom is doing. Kingdom work. Well, what do you mean kingdom work? Well, is everybody in the world saved? No. Well, then you got your work cut out for you. Because the vineyard is full of fruit. The harvest is truly plenteous, but the laborers are few. You know what happens to an apple on an apple tree if nobody picks it? It rots and it falls. And that's what happens to every soul that you don't reach for the kingdom. Every soul, every person that you don't reach, they're on the tree. But if you don't do your work in the vineyard, then that apple, having been untouched, will rot and it will fall and it will spoil and it will be good for nothing. It will just be lost. Every apple, every orange, every grape, every piece of fruit in the vineyard, if it goes untouched, that means we're not doing our job. Because what he does not tell us, what's implied, is that the work in the vineyard is to pick. To put your hands on fruit. And to put it into a bushel. And don't leave the bushel outside. Take the bushel and bring it back and present it to the owner. I picked these many grapes. I picked these. They're not my apples. These are your apples. Here's your apples. All souls belong to God. But those souls are going to die on the tree. They are going to die on the vine. They are going to die out there. Unless you do the work in the vineyard, putting your hand on that fruit and picking it. Now guess what? Every apple doesn't hang low. There is what you call a low-hanging fruit. You know what low-hanging fruit is? People that come to you, pray for me. I'm a sinner. I need to go to church. And you're like, oh, okay, I got it on my card. Come on. That's low-hanging fruit. You put forth no effort. You had to do nothing. You had to say, they came to you. But I brought somebody to church. It's low-hanging fruit. That's not all the fruit that's out there. Some of that fruit is at the top of a tree. Some of that fruit, you got to bring a ladder. Some of that fruit, you got to climb and take risks. And the ladder's going to be wobbly. Some of the fruit is going to take 2 or 3 people. Some of that fruit, you're going to pull and it's not going to want to come off that tree. Because it's not ready. But it's harvest time. It's harvest time. Last night we had a storm and my wife went outside and there were some tomatoes. She had some tomato plants out there and someone were laying down and they were laying over and there were some green tomatoes. They had gotten knocked off because of the wind and the rain and the storm had just detached them from the vine. You know what happens if you leave a green tomato outside just laying on the ground? It'll rot. It'll get eaten by bugs. It will be consumed. It will be good for nothing. She took those green tomatoes and she brought them inside and put them on the ledge above the sink so that the sun could get to them and so that they'll continue to ripen and then they'll turn from green to red and then they'll just continue to ripen. And when they get ripe, guess what? You can slice them up, put them in the salad. You can slice them up, put them on some hamburger. They'll be good for something. Because it might have looked green, but you picked it and you brought it in. You brought it to where it can continue to grow and mature and be protected. You didn't leave it out there in the world. with the bugs and the flies and the animals and all kinds of things. Where it's just exposed. That's what happens to children. That's what happens to adults. That's what happens to the people that are just in the world. And no, they're not red and ripe and ready. They might still be green, but they need to be inside the kingdom. Where they can learn and grow, and they can change, and they can mature. And they don't have to get saved today, because they ain't ready today. But at least they're inside. They won't talk back to me. Go into the vineyard and work. Work because everybody has a job. Work because somebody's got to climb that ladder and pull that fruit down. Somebody's got to make a sacrifice. Somebody's got to put some things on the line because they appreciate the fact that they've been hired. Verse number 15. The husbandman, the owner, God said, is it not lawful for me to do what I will with mine own? Is thine eye evil, because I am good? If you agreed to a penny, then that's what you'll get paid. Don't look at what somebody else's work is doing, or somebody just got here and we're going to get paid the same, because that's what the contract says. That's what the owner says. That was the offer that we accepted. So that the last shall be first, and the first shall be last. For many are called, but few are chosen. I want you to understand that when you told the Lord that you would live for Him, living for Him means working for Him. God is not in your life to bless your life. God is your life. Jesus came and did some amazing things. He fed 5,000. He turned water into wine. He did some amazing things. And then he said, greater works shall you do. Well, I'm not Jesus. No, you're not Jesus. You will do greater than he did. Well, you will never do greater if you don't know that when they fired the starting gun, at the moment you got saved, that was the beginning of life. That was the beginning of your life. And your life is meant to be lived in the kingdom for God, working for Him, doing His will, doing His bidding. Not asking, God, should I do this or that? He's already got a job for you. You already have I don't know what my job is. Everybody has the same job. Everybody has the same calling. Everybody has the same Father. Everybody has the same God. He doesn't pick and choose. He calls. He loves. He's connected to us all. So shouldn't that motivate us to want to do something about that connection, to do something about that relationship, to do something because He's our God, He's our Father? Shouldn't we represent Him in everything we do? David said, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart, that's the things I don't say, let them be acceptable in thy sight, because He's always Dad. He's Dad on a good day, He's Dad on a bad day. He's Dad when we feel like it, He's Dad when we don't feel like it. And not only is He Dad, but He's also our chief employer. He's the CEO of the kingdom that we were born into. There's no idle days in the kingdom. There's no days off. Who wants to take a day off from working for the Lord? Nobody with any good sense. So I want to encourage you today that these are the last days. And because of the last days, we have to redeem the time. Which means we got to hurry up and get some stuff done. And some of the stuff we didn't even know needed to be done. Some of the stuff we didn't even know was our responsibility. But now that we know we've got to get it done, and we can't argue, because we are motivated by who our Father is, by who our God is, and what makes Him happy. It makes any mother happy when she comes in and the kids have cleaned up the house. It makes any father happy when he comes in and the boys have taken out all the trash and the grass is cut. And it just makes a father proud. You guys did that? I didn't have to tell you. You didn't wait till, well, if you give me $5 out. This isn't a negotiation. We don't tell God, well, you know, if I do this work for you, what kind of mansion you got for me? I don't know. That's the best you can do? I mean, I want to work for you full time, but pastor has to be compensated. You know, I'm looking for that big house and I'm looking for that big car. And, you know, if I'm going to be your pastor, you know, I got to look and I got to smell, you know, there's just an environment I like to surround I want to be comfortable. God's not trying to hear that. God's not trying to spoil any of His children. But what gets God's attention is an attitude of gratitude. What gets God's attention is somebody that understands, wow, God did all this. The least that I could do is be His hands, be His feet, find a need, fix it, do it, serve Him, serve Him. How do you serve Him? Good question. He said at the end, at the judgment seat, there are going to be many, Lord, didn't I do lots and great, wonderful things in your name? Yeah, but you do it with the right attitude. I know you're not. Get out. Others are going to say, when did I clothe you, Lord? When did I feed you? When did you come to me naked? He said, as often as you did it for the least of these, you did it unto me. We've got work to do. We've got work to do. We can't pass up people. Now, I was talking to another sister the other day. There are people that are professional panhandlers. There's a guy that, and I've seen these studies, there's a guy that stands by a light and he says, we'll work for food. You know what I did? I said, well, I'll buy you a burger if you. He says, no, I gotta be right here. Why you gotta be right here? You know what I did? I did the math. If the light stops cars for 2 minutes, and 2 cars, every other light, give them $1. How much is that? $2. $80. 60 minutes in an hour.
80.
60 minutes in an hour. It's $2. That's $30. That's $60. And if every other light, he gets $2. Cut that in half. That's $30 an hour. You know what you got to do to make $30 an hour? You need a college degree. You need the right connection, right? You got to work on the job long enough to get tenure, to get the raise. No, all you have to do is stand at a light and panhandle. You can make $30 an hour. And occasionally somebody will be very, very generous and they give you $5. You just went from $30 an hour to getting a raise. Now, is that true of everybody? No, that's not true of everybody, but God gives you discernment. God gives you discernment not so that you won't give anybody anything or that you'll give everybody everything. But you can pick and choose to whom your labor. You can't just give it and say, well, I gave it with the right attitude. No, you can't send good money after bad. Somebody has the alcoholism and you know they're going to buy alcohol. You can't support them. But you have to do the work of the Lord. You've got to do the work. Even Jesus, and I told you about this just recently. Jesus told his mother, I got to work the works of him that sent me while this day, because when night comes, no man can work. I got to be up and about my Father's business. You're 13 years old, boy. What kind of business you got? Everybody in the kingdom has business. So while you're working your job, don't forget the job that he gave you. Don't quit your job. But work for him while you're working for them. Got it? Got it? Got it. Don't drop out of school. Go to school. But while you're going to school, learning, keep working for him, earning. Amen? Amen, everybody? These are the last days. And because of the last days, we don't have much time. We got to hurry up. We got to catch up. We got some catching up to do. We're behind the 8 ball. Let's get it done. Amen. Everybody stand.